Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Anthony Miles, and I'm grateful that you joined us another Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Charter Cable Channel 984. Are you tired of the rap music your kids are listening to? You want something different? We have a very special broadcast in store for you today. First, we're going to bring you Mr. Willie Dyson, who has a wonderful song called No Color. And you're going to be thrilled and just going to love his story. Stay tuned for more smiles. The Monitor newspaper has been in business since 1963. They know the newspaper business. Support our own newspaper. Support the East St. Louis Monitor newspaper. Willie Dyson has a special song. He has music that you won't mind your children listening to. Taken in shortly after birth by Kenneth and Donna Dyson of their pair, Willie Dyson raps about being abandoned by his biological mother and growing up in a loving white family. That's right, Willie Dyson is black, but he grew up in a predominantly white family. I want you to join me in welcoming Ken Dyson along with Willie Dyson. Thank you for joining us on Smiles Television Talk Show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm just thrilled to be sitting here with you.
Thank you for having us.
And you didn't have any trouble finding us?
Nope.
No, not at all.
Tell us, you're from the St. Louis area, and give us a little background. We'll start with your dad over here.
Well, my first wife and I grew up in a small town west of St. Louis in Washington, and over a course of time we gravitated to St. Louis, and we had 5 of our own children. And in the early 80s we got involved in the foster care program for the state of Missouri, and we were actually foster parents for the St. Louis City Children's Court. And over a course of about 9 years, we had 18 different foster children, more than 6 months. We had many more, of course, on an emergency basis, many times over a weekend or something. But we actually had over 9 years, we had 18. And it so happened that Willie was our last foster child. And because of many medical problems that he was born with, we couldn't get him placed in an African American home. And so my wife actually rehabilitated him. And we got Willie when he was 5 weeks old, and we adopted him when he was 2.5.
Let me ask you this, Willie.
Yes.
Growing up in a white family, what struggles did you face?
I didn't really face any inner trouble. I faced a lot of adversity from the kids. I used to get picked on a lot from both black and white kids. It'd be like, oh, you're not black because your dad's white, or you're white because your dad's white, and things like that. So I would get verbally and physically harassed for having a white family.
Your dad mentioned briefly some medical problems early on. What were some of those issues?
I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just know from what they told me I had cerebral palsy and things like that. And the doctor said there was a lot of things, a lot of complications due to drugs from my biological mother. And there was a lot of things like walk and talk that I would never do. And, thanks to God and my mother and my father, I'm actually sitting here today talking with you, which was not in the cards when I first was born.
They said you would never walk,
Yeah.
and you walked in our studio.
Yeah, I walked in.
Let me ask you this: how did you get involved in the type of music that you produce? And tell us about the music you produce.
Well, I started out, to be honest, singing and rapping about everything else like everybody else talks about, and to be honest, I couldn't share it with my dad. And I thought anything that I couldn't share with my father, that would make him proud, it just was going to be really hard for me to be able to show that to the world. So I had a talk with a couple friends of mine, and they said, "Why don't you, sing about your life?" And so then I made that decision to, write a song about my life. And I actually am currently working on writing an album about my entire life story.
Okay, and Kenneth, when he showed interest in writing music and producing, what were your thoughts?
Very negative.
Why so?
Well, because I had heard other rap artists,
Mm-hmm.
and it's things that I would want any of my children, my grandchildren to listen to. And so I fought it for a long time. I wanted to go see Willie teach third grade.
Okay.
He's an elementary major at Northwest Missouri State, where he also played football. And finally, I said to myself to him, I said, I'm not going to fight it anymore. Let's do what you want to do. But I made him, and then he and his producer asked me to be his manager. And I said, I know nothing about music, but they said, that's fine. You spent 35 years in the financial industry. That's what a manager does. And I said, I'll be your manager under the only instance is if I don't hear anything negative in your music. You have so many things to tell people that are positive. That's what I want to hear. And that's what he's done. I think everybody will enjoy that.
So really, tell us about, I want to talk about No Color.
Okay.
Okay. Tell us how, and I know you said it started as a result of your background and being brought up in the home. Tell us a little bit more about it and what you really want to, how you want to impact people with the music.
I really just want not just kids, but adults to understand that it doesn't matter where you come from. Love is universal. And like we talked about before, I just believe that you have to earn the right to be called a parent. I don't care what color you are. I think there's a lot of kids out there that have been abandoned, and adopted, and maybe even have their biological parents that don't pay attention to them. And I know what that feels like to not be wanted. I know what that feels like to go through something like that, where I just went through a lot of different personal struggles trying to understand the fact that my biological mother could not take care of me at the time. And I think it took me a while to accept the fact that it's not that she didn't want to, it's just she couldn't due to the circumstances at such a young age.
Tell you what, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about it. Maybe we'll play that song for our audience.
Sounds good to me.
Stay tuned for more Smiles. Don't go away.
Robertson. I'm Executive Director of the Jackie Joyner Kersee Foundation. 2013 is the 25th anniversary of Jackie's 7,291 points in the heptathlon, and the record still stands. I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, we need your support. We need your help. We're asking 7,291 people to donate $10 each to the Jackie Joyner Kersee Foundation to support our programs and operations. Go to jjkfoundation.org, click on 25th anniversary, and donate $10. Everybody can help. Together, we can make this happen. Let's do this. Thank you.
Prior to our break, we were talking about No Colors. Give us a little bit more about that. Tell us more about the intent, the meaning, and what you want to do with it, or what you plan to, or how you plan to impact others with it.
Okay, well, the actual point of doing the actual song itself was to say thank you to my mom and dad. A lot of it was just, I had to get out a lot of emotions, and I'm not really good at talking, about my emotions. And once I learned I could do music, really express myself musically, then it became a lot easier for me to express my emotions to people. And so the song No Color is really about just me growing up and owning the fact that my parents are white and being okay with that. And I want people to realize that, we have such a big color barrier in the United States right now. And people are always afraid to talk about it. They don't want to say, for example, West County and East St. Louis. St. Charles and East St. Louis is completely different worlds, and I've been blessed enough to where I can interact in both.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the whitest community in St. Louis
Right.
and uphold myself in their dialect and their type of culture and their type of language, and I can do the same thing right here, in East St. Louis. So.
I have a question that's interesting to me because you were adopted at roughly 5 weeks of age. When did you realize that your family was different?
In the first grade, we just had a class on like kidnapping, and anybody that looks different than you, they're a stranger. You need to get away from them and call for help. So when I was in the first grade, I was standing in the bathroom with my mom, and I kind of looked at her, and she looked at me, and I realized they were different colors, and I freaked out, and I started screaming that I'd been kidnapped, and I climbed up a tree, and all the neighbors came outside. She had to call my dad. He had to come home to get me out of the tree because I was like, I don't know you. I just learned about being kidnapped, and we're not the same, and you're not my dad, or you're not my mom, because I was unaware of, exactly what was going on. And that's when, that evening when I finally came out of the tree, we had a conversation at the dinner table, and they explained to me that I was adopted and what that meant. And it didn't take but, a couple days. I kind of sat around and thought about it, and then I just, at that early of an age, I kind of decided it's okay. Because I thought it was okay before I knew anything about what was going on.
And Dad, how did that impact you?
Immensely, when I had to try to come home and get him out of the tree. But the idea that the thing I think that helped him in adopting Willie was the fact we had already had many foster children, and our other children accepted that, because that's key, and it's still key today. Okay, that they helped raise him actually, and put their arms around him and embrace that, which was to me very important. But the idea that us having other African American foster children, I think, helped that transition. And especially after he was rehabilitated. I mean, you have to understand that 17, 18 months, 2 years, when the people found out that he was, hey, okay, that's when everybody...
Right, because he wasn't supposed to be able to walk.
Right. Well, nobody would take him because of his medical problems. I mean, we tried to get him into an African American home. I mean, we understand, but it was impossible because of his medical problems. But then when he was okay, everybody come out of the woodwork and said, "Oh yeah, we want him." Well, it was too late. And by the way, just so you know, while we're on this program, the adoption was not easy.
Really?
Because of the triracial situation. It was not very easy. We were on pins and needles the whole time until it actually happened.
Well, I tell you what, we don't have a lot of time left, but I want to hear the song. I want to watch the video. So we're going to go ahead and go to the video. Is there anything else prior to going to the video that you want to share?
I just think that people need to understand it's time for change, and I think I'm the artist that can do that. I think that I can breach the color barriers that we have in the country, and with my future fan support and current supporters, I think we can do that. It just takes time.
And where can people get your disc? Your
it will be available on SoundCloud.com, iTunes here in the coming months. Right now, I've decided I'm going to make a lot of it free, just because I want to get myself out there. I want to get the message out there. I want to get the story out there, and I just want people to be able to hear some real music that's influential.
And remember, we said your children can hear this, so bring them on in. We're going to go to a song by Willie Dyson. I want to thank them for being our guests. We're going to close out this segment with your song.
Thank you so much.
This is a No Color video by Willie Dyson.
Yo, what's up, Chad?
Hey man, how you doing?
Right.
Hey man, how's that music coming?
I'm gonna talk to my dad about it over dinner tonight.
Gentlemen, are you finished with everything?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate it.
What are you thinking about?
my music. Do you think they'll understand it?
Is it truthful?
Yeah, but you already know that.
Yes, but as we've discussed many, many times in the past, nothing ever happens just by accident.
I personally have a problem with white people or anyone in general adopting black babies and black kids.
No, I don't see no color. No, I don't think you understand. I remember like yesterday in the bathroom mirror for the first time I saw my mother's face. She looked at me, I looked at her, I began to scream. She did not care, cause once I finally stopped crying, I saw no color. I don't see, I know color. I saw no color. The baby's me, left in the trash before the age of 3. My daddy is white, my mother's an angel. I carry a halo, don't do this for peso. Just want the world to recognize that color's disabled. I see it day to day, ill, you racial haters. The Illuminati, KKK, whoever you favor. I am a different flavor, call it real and related. Simple change in my pocket, her face in the locket. When I stumble, I pop it open, remember she watching. So I can't stop now, she expect me to rock it. Duncan Dyson, the heavens are lucky. No more tears, no more pain. A new leg from his grace. I would be lying if I said I didn't miss your face. But I know right now, you're in a better place. I remember like yesterday, in the bathroom mirror, for the first time I saw my mother's face. She looked at me, I looked at her, I began to scream. She did not care, cause once I finally stopped crying, I saw no color. No color, no. I saw no color. No color, no. No color. I used to hate the way people look at me. My family's white, they said it hurts the community. Traitor to their race, they took a lot of heat for choosing me. Judge said you want a black kid, but you was white as me. What you trying to prove? Who you getting money from? You not Drake, but sir, I swear you own one. The only man higher than you, Neil Armstrong. I know you want a gun to shoot, but a black one? My dad looked right at the judge, stared him down some. Said I don't see color, just my son. Could've heard a pin drop in the courtroom on that one. His birth mother left him to die. Fat one. The doc said he never walked, talk, or cried once. His mental status at best, okay. Suck his thumb, wheelchair written. That's a compound sentence. Do you understand, Mr. Dyson? No, I didn't see my wife's on a mission. My kids can miss him, you'll just throw him in the system. If his grandparents ditch him, we just wanna bring him home. Give him love and affection. The only care that we know for neglect. I remember like yesterday, in the bathroom mirror, for the first time I saw my mother's face. She looked at me, I looked at her, I began to scream. She did not curse, yeah, I finally stopped crying. I saw no. This ain't no clip for a movie. Coke addict, acid runs through me, magnetic force from a Uzi that just happened to shoot me. Rap artist, ghostwriting groupie who finally settled for losing. This is the first generation, next innovation. Raised in the burbs, yet my style so basement. And yeah, you can taste it, the whole world's craving it. No longer will I keep my mouth shut. Face it, I won't waste it. Yeah, I'm gon' make it. Cause I've been picked on my whole life. Laughed at cause my dad's white. Left out cause I talk right. Bully hard but my hands nice. No scars or bruises. Yeah, my heart's steady oozing from the hate we producing in life. So with this mic I shall fight. Yeah, for the falling tonight. Push my prayers to the heavens while my demons subside. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You're beautiful inside. Stop planning your funeral and swallowing lies. I remember like yesterday in the bathroom mirror, for the first time I saw my mother's face. She looked at me, I looked at her, I began to scream. She did not care, cause once I finally stopped crying, I saw no color. No color, no. I saw no color. No, I don't. No, I don't see no color.
You just finished listening to No Color by Willie Dyson. It's okay to listen to some music, and we have some more guests here, and you won't mind your children listening to their music either. I'm sitting here with three kings. They have music that is positive, is uplifting, and it's something that you won't mind your kids hearing. Ron Williams, Maru, and Daniel May. And I didn't call Maru's last name. He's going to tell you his name because I've been fumbling it up all evening. Maru, tell us your full name.
It's Muad'Dib.
Maru
Muad'Dib. I'm sorry. Yeah, Maru Muad'Dib. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay. And they're called the Three Kings. And tell us, first of all, how did we come up with the name Three Kings?
We came up with the name. We were in Lake St. Louis in the studio, laying down some vocals, doing songs and whatnot. It was myself and two other guys. And when we exit the booth, the engineer was like, "Oh man, you guys came like three ancient souls. The energy you guys brought, the knowledge you guys brought, you guys should be the Three Kings." And we were like, okay, it makes sense.
And I understand you spell it a little differently.
Yeah, well, originally it was the traditional spelling, 3 KINGS.
Mm-hmm.
But with the first videos, people were complaining when they went to YouTube, they couldn't find them.
Okay.
Because the nativity, the three wise men, all those three kings came up. So we changed it, we dropped the I and changed the S to a Z.
Okay.
And it's Three Kings, and it means 3K, year 3000, Nagas. Nagas means a divine ruler in Sanskrit and ancient Ethiopian. So we kind of ahead of our times, year 3000 divine rulers.
Okay. And in terms of the production of your music, how do you determine the lyrics and what you write and what we hear?
Well, in terms of the creative process, we usually have one of us, comes up with an idea, and they'll convey that idea to the other two. And what will happen after that, someone comes up with an idea for, like the basic music, either basic drum pattern or what have you. And we'll work around that. And, we email each other our parts until an entire song is created. And then we all meet at my house to record.
Okay, so were you just tired of what you were hearing out here? Ron, I'm going to give you that question.
Yeah, and myself as well as this brother Maru, and well is anyway. We come from a strong spoken word background, and our first love actually was hip hop music. When we were younger, kind of walked away from hip hop music because of the way that it was going. And in that time, I can speak for myself. Your early 20s, mid 20s, you're trying to find yourself in the world, and I just needed to be around positive people. So this brother, Maru, introduced me to the spoken word scene here in St. Louis. From there, we've traveled all over the country. We've been on tour in Canada. We did a lot of things. And ultimately, now, when we did our research and we found out that in 1950, the three things that most influenced young black males were family, church, and school. In 2007, the three top things that influence young black males is rap music, television, and peer pressure.
Wow. Tell you what, we need to take a quick break. But when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the spoken word. Okay? Stay tuned for more Smiles. Don't go away.
What is your reason to quit? And when do you plan to quit? No more excuses. No more games. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not next year. Today. Before it's too late. Whatever your reason, today is the day to make it happen. Let today be the day you quit smoking. Call EndSight Health District at 618-271-8722 for more information. Let today be the day where you turn your life around.
Before we went to break, we were talking about the spoken word. Now, I remember hearing years ago Gil Scott Heron.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is that some of the same type of things?
Last Poets.
Okay, well, explain to our audience, others who may not be familiar with the term.
Well, I mean, spoken word comes from, it's a derivative art form of poetry. And basically, it's more so of the performance side of it. So it's theatrical, it's taking the words off of the paper and actually acting them out and performing them so the audience has a chance to connect with it that way.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I mean, if you need an example.
And you know what? I would like an example. Can you give us an example of spoken word?
Yeah, sure. In yoga positions, I bend white light into fragmented colored prisms that vibrate to liberate lost souls from mental prisons. Let's see now, I've been ostracized, lobotomized, homogenized, pasteurized, and crucified. So I, in the middle of the storm, spin within the whirlwind as the unanswered riddle. No longer confined to space and time, I'm expanding, transmutating my soul to shine as gold. I sing psalms and alms in a tune on the dark side of the moon. My words evolve to proverbs that one can quote when one needs hope. See, on my planet, the clouds are my thoughts. They contain the remains of ancient alien DNA strains that burst forth terrain in new consciousness patterns and dimensional planes. Drugs dealers stand on city blocks slanging broken off pieces of my thoughts.
More.
Sample.
Okay, we need more. Wow, that's excellent.
Appreciate
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Appreciate it. Yes,
And you have an album out called the EndSight.
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 EndSight. And in marketing things like that, how do you go about marketing such things? If you're the entertainment director, is that part of your purview? That's yours.
Yeah, Maru.
Okay. Well, that's part of what you do, Maru.
Well, marketing has become a lot easier due to social media.
True.
Twitter, Facebook, all the social media sites allow you direct access to the people. I'm walking down the street right now, whistling a tune. You could tweet that and it goes all over the world.
That's right.
Or, YouTube, we have a lot of videos on YouTube. We share them, send them directly to people. So it's become a lot easier actually, where you can control your own campaign as opposed to letting someone else do it.
Well, Daniel, as the entertainment director, you have an easy job, don't you?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it easy. Sometimes I believe I have an easier job than these two gentlemen right here. But my job consists of number one, music production, acquiring, like if we're going to have guest appearances on an album or a project, acquiring vocals or music from those people and doing that. Also setting up rehearsal times, show times, things of that nature. Now it's a lot easier than it would be, if we didn't have access to our own recording facility.
Okay.
But we do, so that makes it a lot easier.
And I know you don't have an easy job, and I'm just saying because there's so much about it. I was just saying the talent among you is so great that I'm thinking as music director that you were directing the actual flow of things, and that would be easy because you all are so talented.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that elevation program.
Well, basically, the elevation program consists of us getting back into elementary schools on up to colleges and universities. Basically, it's a program geared around giving back to our youth. A lot of times, especially in the inner cities, the first thing that's cut as far as budgets go is the music program. Well, I was one of those kids that, played a little basketball, but really wasn't that athletic. So if you have those kids that are not athletic or not bookworms, what do? They end up on the street. So we're trying to provide some kind of musical direction from them, and we're teaching poetry, spoken word, hip hop, music production. Got workshops and lectures that we do. So this is just a positive program that we're trying to implement. Actually, we are implementing at this point.
And if people are interested in getting involved in the elevation program, what should they do?
Just contact one of us or contact us on our email.
Okay.
Our main email.
Okay, and you're free to give that email address.
Okay. It's 3 Kings, and that's 3 KNGZ 314@gmail.com.
Okay. Can we get a little bit more spoken word?
No, this is the master.
Oh, he's the master.
No,
He playing humble. He playing
Just a
humble.
little bit. Come
Not
on,
myself.
please.
I'll do a little hip hop. I won't do spoken word.
Okay, well, let's do a
hip-hop-
little hip
It's all
hop.
the same. It's all the
Hip-hop
same
is
thing.
poetry surrounded in sound. So
See, there you go.
Okay.
that's what it's it's all about.
Let's go.
Common sense ain't common, it's commonly, arsony, larceny, of varsity, reverse psychology. Dichotomy logically makes you rise from poverty. Mentality suffers from robbery. Your bullets be dodging me. We intuitive, 3 Kings with his dimensional riffs. Give you swift kicks off our cliffs. Poetic bliss is what you miss.
Wow. 3 Kings. You want to pay attention to them. Look for them on YouTube and get their new album, EndSight. That's END-Sight. Thank you for joining us on Smile Television Talk Show. Will you come back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like asking people that before we go out because you're on tape. And you said you would be back.
For the record.
That's right, for the record.
For the record.
I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Smile Television Talk Show. Join us every Monday night on Charter Cable Channel 984. And remember, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Keep smiling. You look better when you smile.
As I focus on the rhyme out of my pocket, my chest is like an automatic and the mind cocks it. Intact in the back, and we're gonna rock
No, you know, man. I ain't got my ID, man. Look at your ID. Oh, man. Hey, I don't know. I'm keeping that little cousin, man. Come on, man. Hey, I'll be sure my uncle, bro. Get him. Supreme royalty, bro. Supreme royalty? Supreme royalty. Alright. Supreme royalty. Supreme royalty. Alright, those two.
Three kings. Ah, yes. One of my friends asked me the other day, do you ever get nervous at shows? I replied, every time. But it's all about what you do with that energy, man. Check it out. When the spotlight is on you and you have the crowd's attention and all of your intention just lapses into tension, is the crowd gonna give you ridicule and recognition? Keep your cool, turn off the eyes and use your inner vision in your mind as a notebook with everything you've written, every line, every sentence just waiting to be spitting. Open fire on your competition with no intermission. Keep your mind on your mission, faith guides the decision. Spit for your closest kin, all of your friends who walked out the door in the morning knowing they were never coming home again. Spit fire, aim high and hit them with a black, brown, red, and yellow like a fire-breathing Doberman. A Rottweiler, cause I'm known to rock wilder than the metal band running in the truck with 9 tires. When I step up to the mic, it's guaranteed to melt the wires. Hope you got your Saratoga suit, I grab the mic and shoot. When I walk up to the mic, I spit. You're fine with deliverance. Incinerated the ignorant. Educate of the omnipotence. When you find out how you get, you don't like it, we don't give a shit. Shake the fire burning out of control. They gonna catch fire, cause I light it with my soul.
You gotta walk through the fire, spit sparks through the wire, embark on the talks to rebuild empires. To the pain even when your courage expires. Mind's free with me, knowledge is 360. There's more black men incarcerated now than was slain in 1850. We keep suffering like YouTube buffering, taking aspirin while aspiring to inspire those in wars from here to Afghanistan. A lover over fighter, govern over the sovereign writers. Bright lights outside of the march and never the thought to take it higher. You gotta walk every day to the fire, like Michael Myers. Instead of a hockey mask, black mask on the task, hold you from liars. Validity